Okay, hi everyone. I'm Marcus,
And I'm Keisha.
and we are medical students from AMSA IMU, bringing you the fourth episode of Trust Me, I'm a Doctor. So this month we'll be focusing on the community, and in this episode, we would like to talk about elderly care, to be more precise. So welcome to our fourth episode, and it's called An Aging Society. And the reason we wanted to have this podcast episode is because as Malaysia has been officially considered an aging country, we really want to educate the community and society about more about how do we actually take care of the elderly, right? So
With that being said, allow me to introduce you to our honorable speaker, Muntoh. And so Muntoh is a general manager of Commune Care, an organization which specializes in elderly care, focusing on wellness and health of senior citizens. And he has more than 35 years of experience in this field. And he has also assisted and given guidance to different businesses and facilities in this industry of elderly healthcare. So, Muntoh, thank you for joining us today. Before we start with the podcast, can you just give us a brief introduction of yourself?
Okay, thanks, Keisha and Marcus. Thank you for inviting me to this wonderful podcast and working with future doctors who will be taking care of me if I live long enough.
hopefully.
Now, just a bit of a correction. It's 23 years. Okay, I've been doing that since year 2000. Okay, I've been doing this. Okay, I was first inspired when I was in England. Okay, in Bournemouth, where there's a town full of nursing homes. It's a retirement town in south of England by the seaside. And I seen how they were taken care of and how they have from the bungalows to the nice buildings to all sorts of care. So when I came back, of course, I moved on to other industry like the travel, the hotel, the F&B, human resource, tour. And then I moved in 2000, I left the job and then I changed to this organization that called IHM, Integrated Healthcare Management. And that's where I started my aged care career. In this organization, we have two care centers, Penang and Kuala Lumpur. Then we have 10 clinics, which I'm also in charge. We also have an emergency call center where we place guarantee letters for people going to hospitals. So we are involved in a lot of medical things in this company called IHM. Then later on, of course, after some time, I moved on to consulting a bit. While I was doing my sabbatical on my own. So I was consulting, and then I was involved in the Idris Jala, his favorite. Oh my God, he has a lab, and then move on to starting homes for people and help a lot of organizations and I've consulted for over 100 organizations, developers, so who are interested in this kind of thing. But I'm also the national secretary for aged care operators, so who are running those bungalow style and some bigger units of aged care centers in all over Malaysia. So we have about 200 over members. That's covered all. That's why you see the little book I gave you. That is it's a part of their guide to running and managing a home.
And for reference, Muntoh gave us a book earlier, and it's about the protocols, right? And
Yeah,
the operations.
yeah, operations.
Okay. All right. So 23 years, 23 years is still a very, very long time. And
Yeah.
I think 2000, we were not born yet also. So, yeah. 2002? No.
No, 2002.
Yeah, 2002. I think, yeah.
Right. All right.
Okay, so thank you for your introduction. And I believe like most people our age, the younger generation, we do not have a good idea of what it's like to take care of our elderly because to be honest, we're still like spoiled and we're still pampered by our parents.
No, I have to correct you there. You're not spoiled or pampered by your parents. Just that you are in a growing stage, and the things are in the positive things.
Yes.
Pain has not set in. Eyesight has not blurred. You can get glasses. You can do LASIK. I think there's nothing wrong with you. Not in any disadvantage, or just that you have to learn what is it about aging. That's all. Yes, you're right. Also, that we are an aging nation. So aging is not a word. It's not the number. It is a spectrum.
Yeah. Okay. And so to kick off this episode, we would like to ask you about all the aged care facilities in Malaysia. And we would like to know like what really constitutes as caring for the elderly.
Okay, caring in a broad sense, okay, in a broad sense means taking care of somebody, okay, who is older, or even an older people taking care of someone who is as old as well. So caring is just could be your own family members, could be a relative, it could be a professional, or could be a neighbor. And the caring is not just simple as a general term, in just a specific term that you must take care of the person, but caring is a spectrum as well. So they go to a restaurant, is the place caring enough for the elderly? You know, it's the steps are designed for that. Okay, when you walk around in a certain place, you go to, can an elderly person walk safely and arrive safely without tumbling and tripping? If it's caring for people, is a transport system easy? Like, is caring for people, does your product covers elderly people? Does the name card size is big enough for the elderly people to see? Sometimes you give a name card. So the caring does the technology allow elderly people to learn easily? So this caring is a whole spectrum. It's not just person to person, but it's a whole industry. It takes a whole country. You know, there's old saying, it takes a village to raise a kid. It takes a whole city to care for an elderly.
And I mean, that's actually the first time I heard about that, because I always thought like we are elderly care was mostly in facilities, but like Muntoh, you mentioned that it really is like facilities. Like even I heard even the train stations might not even have the lift to go up and everything. Right? So that itself constitutes care for the elderly.
Yes, I think. But okay, let's talk about that. You talk about the facilities just now,
Yeah.
but let's go about the building, isn't it? You're talking about.
Yeah.
So in Malaysia, they generally is either at home or you are in a center. So in a center, there are of course the NGO, they get the charity type, where it's run by an association, a religious organization, or some caring people who started something. Or it could be a semi-sustainable, whereby they charge very little, but with some help from the neighborhood, they care for the elderly. And then, of course, there are the professionals where they charge a certain amount. Most of them will be in the bungalows, some of them in shop lots. Like us, we are in a very big facilities where with over 800 rooms with 100 acres park, commune care. So, the spectrum is very wide as well. But of course, the bigger one is coming now in around this time. But the current one, many will be under the bungalow style, which is common because bungalow is in a location suitable for a neighborhood.
So normally we'll see all these bungalow styles in like our own neighborhoods.
Mm.
Maybe like there'll be like one or two nearby.
Yes, because see, caring for people, you have to take into context not the elderly. The elderly cannot make much decision. Okay, they can make certain decision. They can reject and don't want to go, but sometimes they have no choice. All right, you mentioned that. You have to look after the caregivers, the person who they are living with, taking care of them. So it has to be their convenience. For example, it must be location is very important. The cost is very important because not everybody can afford a 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 10,000 kind of building facilities. Maybe they can afford 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. So location must be easy so that they can come and visit as often, because the family members are the most important caregivers. Now, all of us as professionals, okay, even next time as being a doctor, you are far number two. How good we are far number two compared to the family members. So some of them, actually wait for the son to come back all the way from UK before they actually draw their last breath. That kind of thing. And these stories are all real, and they see them, and the next day, this person is going to go in 2 hours because they have seen the sun. So location, price is very important.
Since like elderly care is such a broad spectrum, I'm actually quite interested in, to be more specific, the major part of it, which is, you mentioned commune care, right? The facilities that are specialized just for caring for the elderly, like parks and like buildings. Like, since it's not like a hospital that's specialized in, let's say, heart surgery, elderly care actually constitutes a lot of stuff like hearing loss, or like dementia, people who have Alzheimer's. I would like to ask, how does commune care or facilities like that adapt to sort of cater for all these different types of people with different needs? Because it's very broad, the spectrum.
It is, yeah, it's very broad. And I think the most important thing is build a team to do that. Okay. And the second thing is the system and the assessment. So we have to assess based on the person and also based on our team to see whether we can take them on or not. Okay, not everybody we can care. So when everybody comes in here just because you have money doesn't mean we will take you in. We may not be able to do it. For example, someone comes in, especially with medical condition. Now, generally, there are only three types of conditions that people can go into a center. They have medical, physical, or mental conditions. Okay, so if you have a real mental condition, you're not dementia, you're dementia plus, like with being a bit psychotic and aggressive. We will not take you in because we cannot handle them. If they have medical condition that requires equipment that we do not have in the hospital or a proper care center like those like econ homes or even the Tongshin site, we will not take them in because we do not have the equipment. So even those we can take in, we have to make sure that they understand that this is what we can do. If anything that we cannot do, we send them to the hospital nearby. So I think we have to be very clear the expectation.
And you mentioned about having to assess the um, elderly before taking them in, right? And it's not just if they have the money doesn't mean they can come and
Yep.
stay. So what is the process or like procedure of taking an elderly in? Do you guys have an interview with just the person or like with the family members as well, right?
Yes, the family members and the person. We ask for a lot of details. Okay. Now, one of the things that we ask for a lot of things related to the physical, mental, and medical. Now, we also realize a lot of people are either they're forgetful or they are shameful, okay? Or they are worried for no reason. A lot of people do not tell us the whole truth. So they said, "Oh, my mother." The most common things we hear is, "Oh, my father and my mother, they're okay. They can walk, they can talk, they can shower themselves, they can eat on their own." In my mind, it was, why bring them here? So there must be something hidden. So our job is to find out what was not told. So recently, I must tell you a story. Someone was worried that we do not take in end of life, okay? And they lied to us big time. They say, "Oh, this one doctor says it's a stage 4 cancer. They stay have 3 months life. Immediately check out and all those things." And again, but when they came in here, they did not declare everything. I look at they came in here, and during admission, we saw a medication that is for AIDS, okay, HIV positive, okay. So we asked them, "Okay, why are you taking this measure?" Oh, then only they tell us they're HIV positive. Now that one we don't take because it has a lot of implication. Okay, we have to be a full PPE. We have isolation. Although we can do that, but we don't do it at all. We try not to do it because it has become a lot of stress for the staff who will also have to care for other people. So I know. So we said it cannot, and they said, "Oh, this was a 3 months life." Looking at the body, I don't. Then the swelling 1 week plus. I was in my mind, and I was right. So I had to discharge them. They came in already, and only upon lying down on the bed, we're doing the assessment. We got all the details, got the medications. So we have to discharge them also. So I think a lot of people don't tell us their mother got dementia, and a lot of them do not medicate their parents, even though they've seen a geriatrician. They say, "Oh, all this medicine has side effects." So we have to be very careful. So the assessment is about digging and making sure that we get every possible details. Sometimes we miss it because they hide it so well until the things flare up. I say, "This doesn't look like dementia," you know.
Yeah. Some is like psycho, but nobody knows the
Yeah.
family, they don't even tell you.
Yeah.
So if you find out by yourself, then what do? You just have to
From the family.
inform the family.
We have a clause that says that, when the person has a condition that is beyond our skill and knowledge, we have to discharge. And also, if our facilities cannot handle it, we will discharge. Another story is very interesting is someone said, "Oh, I'm going away to work for 6 months. I need to put them here." Oh, put her here. I said, and when they put the mother there, doesn't look normal at all. Okay, oh, she's just but as time progresses, normally within 2 weeks we will see things happening. we have to quickly call this alternative person to take her away. So it can happen.
Has there ever been a case where, let's say, they place them there, but then they just don't take liability and then they just leave?
Okay. Usually that will happen to the hospitals and the charity organization. Okay, charity organization, they don't mind. It's usually, if they do it, they usually dump them, I use the word, either at the bus stop or in the hospital. Check them in under emergency 999, and then that's it. So at facilities that are charging money, people with intention to dump will not spend a single cent. So that's let you know.
So, but are there like some cases where they just leave their parents there? They pay for it, but they don't come and visit. They just want their...
That one, yes. Usually the children are overseas. But those will still call for FaceTime, so on the video. So those not too bad.
And it's actually quite sad that the children themselves are going away and trying to leave them, right? And so they must feel, I'm sure they feel very lonely and depressed. And would that be the case in commune care? Like, how would y'all handle issues like that? Because it's definitely not easy to take care of people who are depressed, right? And it's not really an illness per se. It's more of like how they feel, right?
The heart and the mind. Rule number one that we must understand that nobody wants to go to a hospital, okay, unless it's necessary. Nobody, in fact, 100%, nobody wants to go to a care center. Okay? In fact, especially Asians, they like to die at home. So I use direct words for that. So nobody wants. So for the first 2 weeks, condition will drop and they will be depressed. So what we do is basically we have a few methods of doing that. Okay, one of the things is try to get the family to come and visit more often, and then we will also have onboarding process where we get some family, if you need to, stay a bit longer until late at night and then they walk away later. But we also work with counselors. We work with the mind faculty, a counselor from mind faculty, if they're necessary, bring it over to talk to them. So they have an idea to assess and help them to accept. The key word is help them to accept their current condition. Some takes 3 months, some takes 1 month, sometimes takes 6 months. Sometimes never work.
Yeah, because some of them are not there by choice. Who would want to go by choice, right, to a care center if they can be at home in the comfort of their own home?
Yeah, true. So our philosophy is very simple. If you can take care of your mom or your dad at home, do that. Until you really can't, then you need look at us, and consider us. Because usually in Asian context, it's because we raise our kids so well, we do so well, we work so hard, send them overseas. They can go anywhere to work. So, and they fall in love somewhere else. They don't come back. So in a way, there's nothing much we can do about it. The children, after they are independent, is their own life.
On that point, I wanted to ask also, why do you think some children, like you said, unless you really can't take care of them, then only you put them in a care center like that. But what other reasons do you think would cause someone to be leaving their own parents in a facility rather than take care of themselves?
A few. Of course, one is they are overseas. Okay, that's one of. In fact, that's the main one. The second one is when the children are sharing the same medication as the parents.
Oh, really?
No, it's true. Yeah, so they themselves are sick. It's just like when I go back to Ipoh a few years ago before my father passes on, I said, I forgot my medication. My father said, don't worry, I got extra. Then my mom said, my mom was a nurse. Yeah, yours is it must be this one. You can take one. They gave me a lot. You can take 1 or 2, no problem. So, so if you are having the same medication with your parents, the chances are you may not be in the perfect health to take care of your parents. Yeah, holding a parents is not holding a baby. Yeah, 10 times heavier, and not 10 times not so cute.
That's why it's important that we don't mean, it's sometimes easy for us to judge saying, oh, you don't take care of your parents, and then it might be seen as a taboo or something, right? Oh, they straight away put. But there may be reasons behind that also.
Yeah. I think that's why a lot of children feel bad. Okay, leaving their parents, they actually feel bad. They could be a doctor, they could be a CEO, they could be so. Just now I mentioned that family members are the one who cause the most problem at the care center and not the elderly. It's because they feel bad that I am so successful. I'm a CEO of an organization. I am a surgeon. I can save someone's life. I cannot take care of my mother. So that ego part and is maybe it's not ego. Maybe the feeling of failure, is like wow, just hit them.
And so for these people, right, let's say they can come visit their parents every day
Yeah,
if they have the time, lah.
if they have the time.
If they have the time.
Like Saturday is a time where they come, but weekdays hardly.
So normally, like all these children, they'll come on the weekends if they're here.
Yeah.
So, like, for them, right, if, like you said, some who are surgeon, if they have that, they think, oh, they can still take care of them, like, even at home, that means they don't, what are the common, or even for the caregivers themselves, what do you think are the common problems they face to sort of taking care of at home,
But there's an option, of course. They can get a home carer to go to your house to take care of them. But again, some people don't like strangers in the house.
Yeah.
Okay, of course, the other is security. Now, life is not fair. You can bring the other is theft, security. You bring someone who may empty your house.
That's true.
Like, so that is always a challenge, and that's just the common human part. But the thing is, a carer may not have the skill to handle a situation or the strength to handle a major situation. So that is where the care centers come in, because they have a team of people. Yes, the same situation can happen, but we have people who may know something to handle it.
They're prepared to handle it.
A bit more prepared.
More prepared, right?
Just a bit more.
So, but how about from the perspective of the children themselves? Then, what if they let's say they don't ask someone to come provide care? If they provide care themselves, what, because they are not professional caregivers, right? They are doctors, or let's say they are lawyers. They're not really aware of how to take care of the elderly.
Doctors, yes. Lawyers.
Like, let's say other occupation.
Any occupation.
Yeah.
Any
What
life.
challenges would they face in?
Now, the first thing is, I think, is the time needed to care for someone. Depends on the condition. Like I said, aging is a spectrum. So your mom can walk, okay, and can walk and do things on her own. Maybe your care is less. You only have one worry: fall. Anyone can walk, can fall. So anyone who cannot walk, you may have bed sores. So these are things that you have to worry about. So their major consideration is who and to take care. So some of them actually have to quit their job, and some nowadays jobs can work from home. I have one client who actually worked from home, okay, and took care of the mother until she passes on. So mom was very difficult. She pinches and punches as well, in Ipoh. So she brought in a caregiver, and she was working from home and to take care of her mother. Can be done. So that is one of the biggest consideration. The thing is, for family dynamics is this. I think when it comes to taking care of elderly, the female will be the one on the disadvantage. You say, oh, you're a daughter, you're not married, I know you're on your own. I think you can take care of your mother. No. So if you have a few siblings, so they always choose the single female syndrome,
It's a very social aspect of it.
But I think that's not fair.
Yeah.
My friend was mother, okay, it was free and easy. Okay, so the brother and the sister-in-law asked him and his wife, since you're so free and traveling around everywhere, why don't you take care of mother? Then my friend's wife said, the reason we are free and easy and traveling around is because we want to be free and easy. You are the eldest, why don't you take care?
The arguments can friction.
Yeah, friction is that. But we shouldn't assume someone who is free and easy or single, not married, should be the one. I mean, men can also take responsibility. So you cannot assume it has to be one person who, the kind of social stigma, single, not married, must take care. You're free, you take care. Hey, I want to be free. That's why I don't want to take care.
And I think that not just about the time lah, and sometimes they have to be there like 24/7. Let's say someone who can't walk, or like if your mom can walk but is weak and you're scared of her falling, or you have to be by her side like 24/7. So even if you're working from home, I think sometimes can take a lot of their mental health as well.
In aged care, okay, I always have this belief that the person that we need to take care is the reason we have a center is not just to take care of the elderly. They got it all wrong.
Yeah.
Our job is to take care of the caregivers. So when we in an elderly, our job is actually to take care of the caregivers so that they give them peace of mind, rest, and do their own things. Because if not, they will go into depression. They will get anxiety. They will get all kind of later on develop a mental stage whereby they will need help in the long run if they take care of the mother more than a certain period of time, more than 10 years, 5 years, whatever. So the caregiver is the most neglected group, not the elderly. People got it all wrong here.
Yeah, I think I have not thought of that also. Like the caregivers are the most important. But I can see why. And what would you say would be the essential qualities
Of a
of a
caregiver.
caregiver? Yeah.
I think someone who is prepared to do the job. Okay, it's not going to be pleasant. You'll be cleaning the feces. You'll be carrying, and must be fit enough. Okay, so you must be fit enough. Someone who cares. Someone who have an intimate knowledge of the person. An external caregiver could have intimate knowledge if they live there long enough. So the best person to take care actually is still the family member because they will be the one taking them to the hospital. They will listen to the doctor what they need. They will tend to them for the last 5-10 years. So they are still the best, but they age as well. So they can get themselves injured if they're not careful, physically, not just mentally.
Yeah. I mean, those are for those who are professionally being a care giver, right? If let's say for a person who is the child himself, and I always bring this up, but like let's say a lawyer or someone who's working themselves, what advice would you give them? Like because it is a very daunting task to
Same thing. You still need to be, care for your mother. Okay, you must have for your father. You must have intimate knowledge. You must, you must give up something to care for your mother. Okay, and if you want to get help, they can always get a home caregiver to do that. Okay, that is something we can look at. So they still have to be fit. Condition is the same for whether it's professional or non-professional or the kids themselves, family members. You have to meet the same requirement. A lot of people say, "Oh, you must have passion and I must have the heart for it." After 5 years, like taking care of your mother, sometimes you don't know where your heart is. Also, you just become a robot doing the same thing, routine again and again and again, and it's going downhill anyway. Not going to hospital, come out, treatment, at home, shower, change the diapers.
Mm. You can't rely on your passion. Like, let's say after like 5 years, you're definitely going to feel tired. I feel like it's more of choosing to take care of your parents. It's more of like a choice. Every day you can like choose to take care of your parents. I'm sure you
Choo-
can do it.
Good word. I think that's the key word actually. Choosing. I think if they make a decision to take care, then they will, regardless, then they will take care. So sometimes passion doesn't mean you make a choice to care. I have passion for my mother to take care, but I don't want to take care. So choosing is making a choice.
Yeah.
So my question to you all: would you give up your degree and take care of your parents?
I would
If it comes to that, we'll definitely.
because essentially like I feel like I'm very indebted to my parents, and at the end of the day I'm able to be here because of them. So if in any case the roles are reversed, I would do the same.
What if your parents feel like? I mean, I'm asking you back, okay?
Mm-mm.
But the parents feel bad because you could give up your degree to take care of them. Yeah, they're very grateful, but they also feel bad. They also feel that I want to die faster so that you can go and continue your degree. In their mind, they commit their mental suicide.
Mm.
Have you got that?
That's
Just a thought for you all.
Yeah.
Because they try to eat less. They didn't do so much exercise. I'm tired. They just let themselves slip into SLIP, slip into a condition where they can just
Just like give up on themselves. They just
for
wanna-
you.
Yeah, for
So would you be the cause of an early death, isn't it? Just a thought.
Yeah. Food for thought.
So now we're asking you, viewers.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good thing to think about because it's not a very direct thing whether you want to help or not want to help, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think the human mind is a very dynamic, but I think most important is the question I asked you is, it's not going to be, there's no answer to it. Okay, you cross the bridge when it comes to it, but I think the best way to deal with it is now you have a chance to talk to your parents, clear their bucket list early. I think that is the most important. In other words, not your bucket list, their bucket list. What is their bucket list? So you getting the degree could be their bucket list, So that one is the key word when you come to caring for and feeling regrets. So clear their bucket list, not yours.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
It's going,
Time to go home and make a list.
no, ask them for the list.
Yeah, ask
You don't make
them.
the list,
Not
right?
I'm the one writing. They're the ones
Yeah.
talking. Yeah. Okay. So I think we've come to the end of our podcast and we've had a very, very good,
Yeah.
engaging conversation with
Yeah.
Muntoh. And thank you, Muntoh, for sharing your experience and knowledge with us. And we've really learned a lot.
Yeah. Indeed.
Yeah.
Different perspectives as well.
I also hope the audience has learned something from this episode and as well as asking yourself the question Muntoh asked us in the last part.
Yeah, I think that's the last word probably I leave with you all. In aged care, before you can care, I think you must understand now the caring for your aging don't start when they're old. Starts now.
Yeah. Keep that in mind. So thank you very much for sticking with us to the end. Do keep a lookout for our next podcast episode titled Ouch, My Feet Hurt, where we will be discussing about feet care, our posture and our gait. So very relatable to everyone. Remember to follow us on AMSA IMU on Instagram and watch out for upcoming events in July. So until then, stay safe and take care. Thank you so much, Muntoh. Thank you,
Thank you so much,
everyone.
Muntoh.
Staycation.
Bye-bye. Thank you.